it starts with them having a crystal clear understanding of how much we care about them.
Yes, sir.
That's first and foremost, beyond the football. And if they know we care about them, then we have a chance to maybe teach them some things about how they're going to be fathers and husbands and community leaders, like you see Troy doing here. You have to be there for them. It's like any father has to be there. It's like God, our Father, is always there for us. And so, having that presence and understanding that we care about them, and then, just being there through thick and thin.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.
Time, Coach.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.
Greatest living football player on earth. Of course, Hall of Fame member of the Cleveland Browns and community activist. He was just on, was it Real Sports?
Yeah, Real Sports, yeah, with Bryant Gumbel on HBO.
He was just on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel on HBO, him and Bill Russell. It's pretty fascinating. Jim
was here with Tony Rizzo for being with sports for so long. Dealing with growing up in Cleveland, dealing with everything that happens. What does it feel to you? What does it mean to you to be a part of such an event? Like this.
Well, Rick, I tell you, this event is a great event, and I love the way, as Coach Trussell said to us earlier, I love the way Troy gives back to the community. Troy's a guy that, like me, never is going to forget where he's from, and I think that's one of the best qualities a person can have. I know that the kids from the Muni Football League appreciate it very much. And then to see the turnout, I mean, Coach Jim Trussell, who is going to be, A, he's not even playing golf. B, he's got to go recruit today in Columbus. Made it a point to come up here and be here this morning for Troy. I think that says a lot about how people respect Troy and how they feel about Troy. All the people that have been here come here to support this great event. Being in the Cleveland sports community, I think I'll go with this. It's somebody said it to me a couple of weeks ago. It's very difficult to be a Cleveland sports fan, as we all know. We have gone through a lot. However, there are towns that they win, New England and New York and wherever. They win things all the time. LA just won in basketball with the Lakers for the 15th time in the franchise history. All I know is when one of these teams does finally win something in this town, will be the biggest party you've ever seen in your life. It's going to be that much more special for us. Hopefully, we'll win a couple of things, but we're still waiting for that first one since '64, and as soon as we get it, I think this town will embrace it like never before.
I agree. As far as like Bernie Kosar, if he would ever take part in being a part of the Cleveland Browns, where do you think he would be most effective?
I think, believe it or not, and it's funny because I always tell Bernie that he'd be a great coach. I do. I think he'd be the best quarterbacks coach in the National Football League. He was always a very cerebral player, and but I think he could also help out in the front office. I know he would like to come back. The timing hasn't been right for him, but maybe it will be in the future. But I definitely think Bernie would be a great coach. I don't know whether he'd want. In fact, I mean, we've talked about him coming back, and I don't know if he'd be up to that, but we'd have to see.
He's not a guy that is ever going to forget where he's from.
Right.
He's a Cleveland kid. He played in the Muni Football League for the Glenville, I forget what they were, Warriors or something like that.
Tarblooders.
When he was a kid. Yeah. And Jim, here he is, Heisman Trophy winner. Now he's playing in the National Football League, and he's still coming back to his hometown. I mean, he didn't play for Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, he got drafted by Baltimore. Come back to his hometown to give something back to the kids that are in that Muni League now.
That's fantastic too. And the economy is tough, and these kids, they need something to do, and to get a chance to be a part of an event like this is very special. So
yeah.
Kudos to Troy for that.
And to play football when you're a kid, man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, every kid should have that opportunity. And what the Muni League does, Jim, I know. Do you remember at the old stadium when the kids would come out and have the Muni League kids, and everyone would be like, hey, you'd be rooting for the Muni League kids harder than you root for the Browns because they weren't all that good back then.
The Muni League kids are probably better than the Browns.
That's very possible. Very possible. Now, here's what I can't get rid of. We were talking all morning. This kid that won the NASCAR thing, it was 19 years old. I bet his dad didn't even know he had borrowed the car.
Jim.
Jim,
by the way, don't get me going on that now because I'm a bit of a NASCAR fan.
Yeah.
And I go into the races. First of all, he won the race, but it was a rain shortened. That's number one.
All right.
Okay, but they'll take it.
Right.
You know what? Do it 10, 20 years from now because he'll win a lot of races.
Yeah.
When you say remember your first races, I go, yeah, but there's the conspiracy theory out there too that the NASCAR didn't mind calling that race with him in front because he represents the young
Yeah.
crowd. He's got a lot of young guys
Who
and
was
gals.
here from LiquidWorld.com, here with Aaron Goldhammer from 850 WKNR. I want to ask you a question about, how is it being from the Denver community, working in beautiful Cleveland, and taking all the scrutiny from the fans?
Yeah.
How do you balance everything out and, just do a good job at work?
I think, Ricky, that it's Cleveland is such a place where the natives. I mean, it's everyone here is from here. The other day, I was down talking to someone who was from Akron. I said, "Are you from Cleveland?" They said, "No, I'm from Akron." I said, "Cleveland is the same place." So I think it's different for people to hear a different voice, to hear someone who's not from here, who's not a shill for the Buckeyes and the Browns. But I think now, being here about 3 years, I've been here long enough that I think people are starting to get what I do, and they're starting to accept me into the community, especially the Browns, Indians, and Cavs fans. They've been such a welcoming group. It's really been really nice and really surprising because normally in a place that everyone's from here, you'd think that they'd be afraid of an outsider. But I think most people have really been really nice and really welcoming. And listen, I'm going to root for the Broncos. I'm going to root for the Nuggets. I'm going to root for the Avalanche. But I'm going to follow the teams and I'm going to respect the fan bases here. And I think that's we found a nice balance in that regard.
Well, me personally, as being a WKNR 50 listener every day, I think he brings a lot of excitement and different speaking tone from being from Denver. And I respect it. I'm a home so I would respect it if it went home.
I appreciate it.
I
Man.
appreciate
You got
your
it.
time.
You got
All
it.
right,
Josh, Jim Brown. Hi, Jim. It is Tony. JB, how you doing, partner? I appreciate it very much, Jim, and you've been on with us before, and I appreciate it. Anytime you take the time to come on. Where are you right now, sir? Okay. Jim, let me first ask you. You did that Real Sports Show with Bill Russell, and you talked about the community and a lot of things, and that had to be real special for you. That was a nice forum for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You're right, man. That was one of the things that I really look forward to. Brian, I have a lot of respect for his intelligence and, being very, very upfront. And then to have an opportunity to be with my dear friend, great human being, Bill Russell, it's a great opportunity for me, and I really appreciate HBO, having the kind of, the intelligence to represent something like that.
Yeah. Jim Brown is our guest. Jim is here to talk about an event called Sports Legends Challenge. It's just happening in the Bahamas. We'll get to that in a minute. Jim, you have been in the news recently as well, talking about Tiger Woods, among others. You don't feel like as big as Tiger is, as the number one, not golfer in the world, maybe the number one sports personality in the world today. You don't think he's doing enough for the community of the African American community. And could you just talk about why you think that is?
Well, come on. It's a simple situation, The African American community should be trying to get respect by the efforts that it makes to make a difference. We have the highest crime rate. We have incarceration, parole, probation. We have homicides of our young black men. We have lack of educational performance. We lead all the negative categories that people put in front of the young children. And so if we ourselves, don't try, we put our resources and our influence behind change, then why should other people care about it? And we have an epidemic when it comes to violence and when it comes to our education system, particularly African American community.
So, Jim, what specifically then would you want Tiger to do? Like, give me an example. What do you think? Do you should be talking to kids or addressing those subjects more?
No, we don't need conversation. We need resources. And we need to become a part of a collective. We have community organizations across the country that have the pulse of these things, at their fingertips. And if those community organizations could be supported financially and symbolically, it would make a tremendous difference. So when you are in a position to raise millions of dollars and you have community organizations that are right there with the problem, and you don't support those organizations, then we're missing something.
Jim Brown is.
It's not a debatable subject. It is only a matter of saying a person in America can do whatever they want to do, and that's true. Anybody can do what they want to do, but if you want to make a change in this country, it isn't through your charitable contribution. It's through the contribution to change and the effort of change.
Jim Brown is our guest. Jim, I agree with you. I and it's a double-edged sword because to those that are given a lot is expected, and I agree with you. I think there's a lot of guys at the top right now that could be doing a little bit more. You, however, are a person that has gone ahead and done a lot. Talk about your American program. How's that going?
It's fantastic. You know, we're in so many schools across the country. We are an accredited course in a lot of those schools. You know, they give the kids credit for being ambassadors. We have supporters like Joe Russell and Joe Governcik, soon to come on board, you know, Jerry West, people like that. And the violence in Los Angeles has gone down. Of course, the police take all the credit for it. But we know for sure on the west side that the American troopers out there have made a big difference. So in every way, the quantitative data says that it's, you know, very successful. It's been the anecdotal data, the parents that feel that we're helping their kids, and the kids that are being helped to go to college on basketball scholarships. All these things are coming out of the development of former predators who have changed their lifestyle and now have an impact on our society, you know, in a very positive way. So I'm very happy with the efforts that the American people are making.
Jim Brown is our guest. JB, let's talk football. What do you think, Eric Mangini?
I happen to like Coach Mangini. I'm very glad to say that. And I happen to respect him. When I came back to rookie camp, I couldn't have asked for a more congenial coach and accepting me and allowing me to speak to the rookies. And, you know, our conversations were all conversations that made a lot of sense to me. We talked about some of the drills that he runs, and he talked about the kind of player that he's looking for. He wants intelligence. He wants players that can think. And that's always been a Paul Brown thing. Paul always wanted thinking players and intelligence. And he wants to have a particular kind of person. And he's building his organization the way that he should. I'll bring one thing up that I'll say this to all the Cleveland fans. This whole thing about taking a Hall of Fame down off the wall, I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, yes.
Well, the media ran away with that. So when I got to Cleveland, Paul and I were called to come to the front desk, and they wanted to take some pictures. So I get the call. We go to the front desk. In the foyer there's a tremendous display of our Hall of Famers. Classy, everything you would ever want.
He moved it.
So what Coach Mangino had done was put it where the people could see it, upgraded it, put a greater value on it, and did it without trying to explain it to anyone.
Yeah, and you know the media, we're going to run with it, Jim. I mean, I'm as guilty as that as anybody. I mean, the story, whenever you hear, you know, the coach took down a mural of the Hall of Famers, you know, everybody thought, but you were right. As it turned out, he did move that. Jim Brown is our...
You guys were wrong on that one, so I thought that I could at least bring it up. And
You're-
in the context of having Paul around.
You're allowed. You're allowed. Listen, I'll let you take me to task anytime. You know that, Jim. Come on. You're allowed.
Hey, I can forgive you because you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know that he was that into Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and they are. And Jim, you know, but I got to tell you, because I grew up in the 70s and rooting for Leroy Kelly and company, but you know, and our tradition is great. But Jim, at some point, you know, we've got to be good again. We need a new tradition.
Well, check this out. Now, here's the deal. You said we got to be good again, regardless of all the other stuff. The one thing we have to do is be good. So when I was at Nigeria's training camp, watching the drills, watching the players, watching the assistant coaches, I was highly impressed because from all the things that people were talking about, when I saw firsthand what was going on, I realized that Randy made a great choice. And he and Randy talk every day. And he invited me to have input whenever I wanted to him. And that's being really open for a coach. But his responsibility, first responsibility, is to win and to bring that winning tradition back. So if I were in his shoes, I would do things my way also.
Right.
If my responsibility is to win, and you say you want to win, and doggone it, I have a formula that I'm going to use, and don't question me from day one and try to understand everything I do, because you never would. You're not me, you're not a coach, and you're not the head of the Cleveland Browns. So I'm going to do things the way I want to do them.
And I've always said,
that's why you hire a coach to do things the way that he believes they should be done, and eventually bring you those wins that we want so badly in Cleveland.
and I've said, Jim, we got to give him a chance. I mean, whether you agree with everything he's doing right now or whatever, we at least got to see a year or two.
Let me ask you a question, and let me make a statement. I don't think there's anything to agree with. I mean, you know, why are we going to have to agree or disagree? Why don't we wait and see?
Well, because you know, man, Jim, you know how people are with their preconceived notions of, Eric coming over from the Jets where he was fired last year, and he came here, now he's coming here. But I mean, I know you're not naive to think that, some people just got it in for him. I have always said on this show, with any coach, I said it with Romeo, I said it with Butch Davis, I said, you've got to give the man a chance. Now, if you've seen a year or two and you don't like what you see, fine, I'll listen to that argument, but you're right. You definitely got to give him a chance. We're talking to Jim Brown, who is in L.A. Jim is going to be part of something called Sports Legend Challenge. It is at the Atlantis in the Bahamas, Jim, which is a beautiful place. You, Mike Ditka, Troy Aikman, Gale Sayers, Jerry West, Julius Irving, Reggie Jackson, Brooks Robinson. How about all these great names at this event?
It's going to be unbelievable, and the kitty is about $10 million. And
wow.
You can team up with a lot of fans and win maybe all of it, at least a portion of it. That would be too bad.
Yeah.
I'm taking my family, I'm taking my kids, I'm taking my wife, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. So I'm happy to be a part of it. I get a chance to see Gale Sayers is one of my favorites. And, such a wonderful, beautiful running back. The grace that he had and the personality. So I'm going to be a lot among my friends. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. For more information and to sign up, you can visit them at www.sportslegendschallenge. One word, sportslegendschallenge.com. JB, always a pleasure. When you're in town, I got to have you come in because you and I got a lot to talk about. And I love what you're doing, Jim. I got a lot of respect for you. Thank you very much for being on my show.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, Jim Brown, ladies and gentlemen, the great Jim Brown.
Troy Smith. My name is Rick Lewis from LiquidRaw.com. Troy, how you feel about being able to be such an inspiration to a lot of youth in in the inner city and be able to do something like this to try to give back?
It's definitely a blessing. Not only, like you said, I'm an inspiration to them, but they're an inspiration to me too. That's why we do it. That's why we want to give back to them and let them know that we're not just, fragments that they see on TV. We're actually real life people, and they can touch us and see that we want to give back to them too.
That's great, man. Yeah, too. Subject of that a little bit. Football, man. You always always knew you could do it.
Right. Right.
To me, I think you should have won first in the draft and all that.
Right.
What you got to say to all the non-believers? Get it done.
Well, non-believers and people who, pretty much going to be naysayers in the situation. They're not going to go, for any time soon. It's always going to be somebody that's going to, have their take on what they really think should happen or how they think you should be used or whatever the case may be. They're not going anywhere. They don't shape anyone's future. If anything, they fuel certain people's fires. I'm not going to say anything, but, we prove them wrong every day, so I'm good. I'm good.
Hey man, Troy Smith right here. Hey, great to the black community. Not even the black community, the whole community. Great guy.
Appreciate it.
How y'all doing? My name is Rick Lewis again with LiquidRaw.com. Here with the great Chris Chambers, great wide receiver from San Diego Chargers, hometown Cleveland, Ohio. First of all, man, how you like it in San Diego?
You know what? I absolutely love it in San Diego. It's a great city. One of the best places I ever lived there my entire life. And it's a great blessing to have the opportunity to play there and to live there right now.
Okay, I hear that, man. San Diego's real nice. But when you talk about this event a little bit, y'all got, you and Troy got going on today, man. This is a beautiful thing, doing something for the inner city youth, I remember times when I was growing up, matter of fact, playing Pee Wee football, Pod 6, we had to share equipment and, stuff like that. So, what make you want to come and give back?
Yeah, we've come a long way from those times, man. I was in the same position and just had the opportunity the last 7 years. I've been doing a football camp with the community leagues and with the high school teams, and I have a real passion for Ohio. I have a real passion for my area, the people who I grew up with, the support that I have here, and I have the opportunity to give back in a great fashion. And I have a lot of experience in football, so that's why we do the football camps. And now we're trying to do the educational programs to bridge the gap with that and make people more aware.
That's what's up, man. I want to thank you personally for doing that. With the
Thank
city.
you.
But I want to ask you something about too, man. I hear you got something going on in the entertainment industry. What's going on with that?
Yeah, the last 3 years I've been building a brand, King 8 Entertainment.
King 8?
Yes, sir. It rolls off pretty well, to say the truth.
Yes,
and have a lot of talent there. A guy by the name of Priceless and a guy by the name of Knox right now, are two artists. And we've just been working. We've been grinding. We've been in Miami, Florida. We've been in LA, California. We're over in the UK right now. So we're just trying to bridge that together and then hopefully be able to do something out in Cleveland. We have a couple of artists in Cleveland, Castle the Truth, that we're working with, more of a street grind, more of a street game. But we're trying to bridge that gap once again. Like I said, in the entertainment industry, we feel like Ohio and Cleveland is kind of untapped in that market because we don't have a huge name. I know there's some guys out there that's starting to make hay a little bit. So I want people to know that we have it here in Cleveland, and we need to be represented by somebody. And I have an opportunity to have some guys. They're actually from Youngstown, but they rep in Ohio, and hopefully we can get some guys in Cleveland and put on the show and just let people know that we have talent out here as well.
Okay, is there any way your fans can get a hold to that music?
Absolutely. If you want to go to my foundation, you can go to www.catch84.com. For the entertainment side, you can go to www.king8ent.com. You'll see what we did. We have 2 videos that was been spent on VH1, BET, and MTV networks. And over the last couple of years, we've been doing a couple concerts here and there. So we look forward to doing bigger and better things. Check us out. I'm sure you'll like what you see.
Okay, that's what's up. Besides, everything you got going on, sound hot too, man. Who are you listening to in the industry right now? What about Drake or anybody? You listening to any of them cats right now?
The thing about it, when you have this couple, you can listen to your guys,
Right.
the people that
Definitely
a lot of
understand
music that people ain't never heard before, that you heard that they may not hear for a year from now. To tell you the truth, so I'm really listening to the guys right now. We know Drake is an upper kind of artist. He's been under Lil Wayne. He's been in their camp. I don't know the true story about him. I just know some people say he writes for Wayne. Some people say, well, he seems like he's multi-tasked. He's multi-talented. He sings, he raps. He has a great sound. He looks like he's going to do the next big thing. They did a great job with his promotions. I know about the guy, and I ain't really seen too much stuff from him, but a couple singles and maybe a mixtape. But it's like when his album come out, I'm going to buy it.
Right,
so
exactly.
they did a great job with that. And, along with him, Wayne and Kanye, these guys are holding down the game. Rick Ross is a good friend of mine in South Florida, so it's cool. I like him. I like his music.
That's what's up, man. I thank you for your time, man.
No doubt.
Hey, check my man out this year, man. He
Appreciate
definitely
it.
have a Pro Bowl season.
All right. For news, for action, for music, for entertainment, for sport, LiquidRaw.com.